What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of NKU Sports Break. I'm your host, Carly Motzer, and I'm super excited to be joined by Harvey Moyes. This is the first of my student interviews, and so we're super excited to get these athletes on and talk about some of our fall sports. Harvey, how's it going?
Yeah, good, doing good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. So just to introduce everybody, where are you from and what drew you to NKU?
So I'm originally from Glasgow, Scotland. I grew up there, playing soccer there since I was 5 years old. And in terms of coming to NKU, the assistant men's coach at NKU, Blair Stevenson, is also from Scotland. So that was a big thing for me in terms of Blair asked me to come out and have a look. And as soon as I came out and saw the facilities and met with the head coach, Stu, it was a no-brainer for me to come.
So how, being in touch with him during the recruiting process, the facilities, that's kind of what drew you here? What about it, words are hard, sorry. What about your recruiting process, sealed the deal?
Yeah, so I always tell the guys, especially the American guys here, that I think a lot of them don't realise quite how lucky we are to have what we have at NKU. Because I've played at decent levels back home, semi-professional, I've been in and around the professional game, and there's a lot better players playing back home that don't have the facilities that we have here and don't get looked after like we do. So coming in, seeing the stadium, and another big thing for me was I met a couple of the alumni when I came out, the soccer alumni specifically, and they've been phenomenal with me from day one. I've been here 4 years, and even now they're still texting me, they're in regular contact. So there was just, I couldn't find anything wrong with it. It just ticked every box for me.
You said that it was a great start from your freshman year, and being named all-team freshman for the league, and now going into your senior year, how has NKU impacted you as a player now that you're here?
Yeah, I'd say I've definitely grown. One thing that's been different for me here is I think the players have to take a lot more ownership, because if you imagine just being a soccer player somewhere, it's just play and then you go home, and the managers can just control what you're doing at training, control the games. But here, you're going to class, you're doing all sorts of events outside of just playing and practice. So there's a lot of ownership on the players to make sure things are done right and you represent the program properly. And with Stu making me the captain quite early on in my college career, that a lot of that fell on me, and I think it's helped me develop more as a leader and just help represent the program the right way.
Absolutely. What is your favorite part about being on the team and shouldering all of that responsibility?
Anybody that plays sports will tell you there's nothing better than being around the team, being around the guys, and just the banter that flows between the guys. That's something that's been difficult right now with everything being sort of distanced and closed down, is you miss that contact with the guys. But yeah, for sure, just being in and around the guys, the banter between the boys is good.
You mentioned how difficult and different everything is now because of COVID-19, and obviously that impacted your guys' season with fall sports being postponed. So, what does your guys' days look like now? What's the team up to?
So at the moment, the plan is we're allowed 2 on-field sessions with the coaches for an hour each, and then 2 sessions in the weight room with the strength coaches. So it's frustrating. We're on the field and we're socially distanced. We have to arrive wearing masks, but that's just what it is at the moment. We have to accept it and make the best of it. So we're there and we're all working hard, doing everything we can. And yeah, that's it. We're not to mix outside of practice. Just keep to ourselves, do our classwork, and that's it. Just do the best we can given the circumstances.
That's all you can do, especially with everything changing every single day. It's just one of those keep your head down and grind kind of things, and hope we all come out on the other side of it.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Oh, what's that? I'm sorry.
I'm sure we will.
Definitely. But that being said, and like not really knowing what all there is looking forward, we're gonna look back a little bit. Can you tell me about a moment from last year, or just like a big moment in your NKU career that stands out to you?
Yeah, I would say a big one for me in the past season. We played UIC at home, and UIC in my time here, they've always sort of been the ones you look at as the big game, because they've got good players, they've got a great system, they play a really good brand of soccer. So that's the one we're excited about, and we had them at home. I think it was a 2 o'clock kickoff in the sun, which is perfect conditions, and they were top of the league at the time. I don't think they'd lost the game in conference, and we ended up beating them. I think the final score was 3-2. Alex Grieve scored a hat trick, and it was just phenomenal. My family were in the stands watching, so it was a big deal, and I really enjoyed it. That was definitely a highlight for me.
Anytime you can get your family in a situation like that, it just like brings the whole thing full circle, and it's great.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you're a senior, and you obviously are like rounding out your career a little bit. So when you graduate, what are your plans from here?
Yeah, so I'm actually due to graduate in December, so it's kind of tough, as this would have been my last semester of playing. So I'm in a position now where it actually gives me a little bit of flexibility. I've got 1 year's eligibility left, so I'm currently speaking with the coaches and reviewing the option to come back and maybe do a master's with that final year, or potentially moving on and trying to get into the professional game if I can.
If you were to come back for a master's, what would you be studying?
I'd be looking at probably doing a MBA in business administration. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. There's a good online 1 year online course at NKU that I've heard good things about. So that's sort of what I'm looking at just now, just weighing up my options.
Yeah, and every day more options become available and change. So, well, thank you so much for coming on the show today, Harvey. Everyone make sure to give NKU Men's Soccer and NKU Norse a follow on social media to keep up with all of your NKU athletics news. Thanks.